Welcome students to your Parts of Speech Series 4 video on pronouns. Pronouns replace nouns and other pronouns. Pronouns are words such as I, she, he, we, they, or it, just to name a few. An antecedent is the word a pronoun is replacing. In these examples, both the pronoun and its antecedent are in all caps. In the first sentence, your is the pronoun and the antecedent is Tom. In the second sentence, it is the pronoun and the antecedent is the phrase, making sloppy joes. Yes, sometimes a pronoun can replace a group of words. Here are two more examples. In the first sentence, that is the pronoun and the antecedent is book. In the second sentence, both she and her are pronouns that share the antecedent Kim. Pause here and complete the first activity on your worksheet. Personal pronouns refer to the person speaking, the person being spoken to, or the person, place, or thing being spoken about. Look at the chart on your worksheet to familiarize yourself with personal pronouns. There are two types of personal pronouns, aside from regular personal pronouns. There are reflective and there are intensive. Let's look at reflective pronouns first. Reflective pronouns reflect back to a noun or another pronoun earlier in the sentence. Reflective pronouns end in self or selves. Intensive pronouns also end in self or selves, but they add emphasis to a noun or another pronoun in the sentence. In these two examples, himself and herself are reflective pronouns. In the first example, himself refers back to the proper noun Michael, and in the second sentence, herself refers back to the proper noun Georgina. In these two examples, the pronouns himself and ourselves are intensive, as they are serving only to emphasize. In both examples, the pronouns could be removed without changing the basic meaning of each sentence. For example, sentence 1, the boss himself wrote the speech, could just as easily say, the boss wrote the speech. In example 2, you could say, we did it, and have the same meaning as we did it ourselves. The intensive pronouns himself and ourselves are just adding emphasis. Pause here and complete the second activity on your sheet. Look at the chart on reflective and intensive pronouns to help you. Next, let's look at demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns direct attention to specific nouns. This, that, these, and those are all demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns can come before or after their antecedents. In the first example, that is the demonstrative pronoun. Its antecedent is car. In the second example, that is referring to pepperoni. As you can see, in the first example, the demonstrative pronoun is coming in front of its antecedent. But in the second example, the demonstrative pronoun comes after its antecedent. Relative pronouns begin a subordinate clause and refer back to another idea in the sentence. That, which, who, whom, and whose are relative pronouns. Since relative pronouns begin subordinate clauses, it's important that you understand what a subordinate clause is. A subordinate clause is a group of words that cannot stand alone. They do not make a complete sentence and therefore must be attached to an independent clause to work. An independent clause, on the other hand, is a group of words that does make up a complete sentence. Here are some examples. Here are 4 clauses. Number 1 and number 3 are independent clauses. They can stand alone as complete sentences. Clause number 2 and clause number 4, however, are subordinate. They do not make complete sentences and cannot stand alone. However, you can attach these subordinate clauses to the independent clauses to make complete sentences. By combining the independent clause with the subordinate clause, we have created 2 new sentences. He found the dog that he had lost, and John is the skater who won the contest. In the first example, it begins the subordinate clause that he had lost. In the second example, who is the relative pronoun. It begins the subordinate clause who won the contest. The antecedent for that is dog, and the antecedent for who is skater. Interrogative pronouns simply begin a question. What, which, who, whom, and whose are all interrogative pronouns. Sometimes interrogative pronouns do not have an antecedent in the sentence. Look at sentence 1. Who is an interrogative pronoun? Its antecedent is girl. Both the pronoun and its antecedent appear in the same sentence. However, in example 2, that is not the case. Whose, which is also an interrogative pronoun, does not have an antecedent. It is actually referring to car, which appears in another sentence. Indefinite pronouns are the last type of pronoun we will look at. Indefinite pronouns do not specify which nouns they are referring to. Look at the chart on your worksheet to familiarize yourself with indefinite pronouns. There are quite a few of them. Definite pronouns may have specific antecedents or not. In the first 2 examples, there is no specific antecedent. Each ate everything offered. Somebody had more than one. However, in example 3, both refers to cupcakes. There is a specific antecedent in example 3. You have finished the video on pronouns. Complete your last activity on your worksheet before continuing on to the Google form questions.